So my passion for plant sciences, I think, was just kind of from growing up. Even though I was in a city, I was really lucky. I was right next door to Sutton Park, which is one of the biggest parks in Europe. And I think just being able to have that memory of wandering around the woodlands and actually just really immersing myself in kind of that environment just instilled that love of plants from day one. And then it just kind of built from there, really. I did a plant science degree at Edinburgh University, which was amazing. And then that really kind of solidified. I knew that I'd made the right choice. It was a really exciting time because I got to do lots of field work, but also lab work, and it's just really nice and varied. And you get to do so much more with plants than perhaps you would be able to do with kind of medical biology or animals, because they don't have thoughts and feelings. So you can do a lot more. So I worked on a project that was actually making begonia fluoresce green, which I'm sure if you were trying to do that in zoology you would not be able to. So yeah, that was a really interesting project. But my love was always food security, and kind of thinking about how you can tackle these bigger kind of global issues and how that links into climate change and things like that. So the social aspect, but also the plants as well. So I was really lucky for my PhD. So I managed to do some work out in Malawi with smallholder farmers. But whilst I was there, in terms of climate change and actually solving some of those issues, I realised that education was one of the key things, and that really kind of gave me the willpower to go into teaching. But also during my PhD I'd had the chance to help out and kind of with seminars and workshops and things like that, and it was that bit of my PhD that I actually enjoyed the most, rather than the kind of sitting and writing it on my own. I actually enjoyed being able to kind of talk about the topics and breathe life into those bits that perhaps no one else was really thinking about, and thinking about how you can do it in a creative way and an engaging way. So yeah, that was a bit that I really enjoyed. I think that's such a good question, because when I was a teacher I actually did find it really hard to teach some of those topics, and I could see why the students were actually preferring the medical biology and kind of all of those other topics within biology as a whole. But I think it's like really linking it to the bigger picture and how incredible plants are, and in terms of like the problems that they can be used to solve, so climate change and kind of mitigating that, but also that they're so diverse, and it's not a topic that you ever feel like you're an expert in. It's always something that you're going to learn something new, and just by talking to people who have their own little niche within that world, you always pick up new facts and things like that. So I think it's a really interesting field that's always developing, and there's always something new to pick up, which makes it really exciting. So obviously there's a lot of talk of AI and things like that, but I also think it's kind of thinking about how we can use perhaps tools that are a little bit more traditional, so like understanding botany and things like that, but kind of bringing that out to kind of solving bigger problems. So how can we use plants to actually help us mitigate climate change? Is it about planting a load of trees, or is there something we can do that's a little bit more sophisticated to tackle those kind of global problems? And what don't we know about yet? So what species are out there that could actually help us solve some of these kind of really important questions in the future?